Friedrich leaned back in his chair. He preferred sitting in the small chamber of the outer tower. The big hall, with all the servants rushing in and out, was too crowded and chaotic. From up here, he got a nice view of the Elbe River, making its way through the landscape. Watching the small boats pass by on the big stream felt somehow reassuring. Of course, it could get a bit cold up in the tower, especially now with winter approaching quickly, but he had to keep a cool head anyways. As of lately, worrying news accumulated. Reports said that Saxon merchants had repeatedly been attacked on trade routes from Krakow and Vienna, passing through the Kingdom of Bohemia. Attacks on merchant caravans were not uncommon, but apparently the Bohemian authorities did nothing in order to bring justice to the perpetrators. The current king of Bohemia, Ladislaus Postumus, was still a child, and the Regency Council ruling in his stead allegedly lacked a valid reason to call for military actions. If fighting outlaws isn't a good enough reason already, Friedrich didn't know what is. He couldn't help but feel that these bandits focused their raids primarily on caravans from Saxony, a concerning thought. Even more concerning, if not suspicious, was the fact that the 200 armored knights whom Friedrich had sent out to escort the latest caravans from Meissen had all been denied entrance into Bohemian lands. Even his formal request of military access had to be respectfully declined. Something about disturbing public order. A bunch of horseshit is what his father would have called it, although considering that his father, Friedrich the Belligerent, and his Saxon forces played a major role in the Hussite Wars, who ended not too long ago, it was possible that knights riding under Saxon banners could cause quite some unrest amongst the Bohemian population. Either way, complaints from nobles and merchants alike, hell, even peasants, piled up in the big hall of Alpirsburg Castle, the seat of House Wettin. It's not like the duchy's economy relied on trade. The towns of Leipzig and Württemberg produced wool, the ore mountains near Meissen provided iron, and dyes were produced in Thuringia. However, the merchants paid nice taxes and brought along some goods that people got accustomed to over the years. Most notably, salt from Krakow and copper from Hungary, as well as wine and grain from Austria. Of course, salt could also be transported from the shores in the north, but the trade center of Lübeck was in the grip of the Hansa, and you either joined their league or paid exorbitant fees. Something Friedrich wasn't particularly interested in. Naturally, this left only the route from the Duchy of Bavaria in the south towards the Free City Frankfurt in the west, passing through several smaller states on the way. Certainly, every little baron along this route wanted his share, but the tariffs could not possibly be more expensive than the ones imposed by the Hanseatic League. Friedrich was on good terms with the Landgrave Ludwig of Hesse, and perhaps he could broker a deal with Bishop Gottfried IV of Würzburg concerning the delivery of wine. It was definitely worth a try. Provided everything worked out as planned, the western trade route still couldn't compensate for the losses from Krakow. No, somehow these bandits must be brought to heel, with or without the consent of the Bohemian rulers. Friedrich stood up and walked towards the window. He was tired. Days were supposed to get shorter during the winter month, yet the opposite was the case. He felt like he had slept less and less every night for the last weeks. Maybe he was too lenient with his neighbors. After all, they called him the Gentle for a reason. What a useless name it was. His father was called the Warlike. Only a few rulers were bold or stupid enough to stand in his way. He wouldn't have even asked for military access. He would have simply marched in and be done with it. Friedrich turned around as his wife entered the small chamber, carrying 2 bowls with steaming hot soup. A smile appeared on his face. His name may be of little diplomatic value, but his wife's name surely wasn't. Margaret von Habsburg, sister of the current Archduke of Austria, and Emperor of the Holy Roman Empire. As the door closed behind Margaret, a cold breeze blew through the chamber. Friedrich shivered. Perhaps this was the wind of change.